My father was excited when he got his acceptance letter to the University of Massachusetts. However, there was a problem. My grandfather's back was financially up against the wall. His wife was dying of cancer and there were huge medical bills. There was therefore no money available to help send my father to the University of Massachusetts. My grandfather, however, did have points of contacts in the business community and was able to help him get various jobs to help him earn money in college. In this video, my father talks about his experience working to get into college. I hope you enjoyed listening to these videos.
My father's influence on me had one aspect which I had alluded to at one point earlier, and that is he was always able to find jobs for me. We didn't have money. I didn't get an allowance. Richard didn't either, or Tootie. And going way back, I worked on summers for the recreation department of the town of Framingham for at least 2 years as part of the playground activity. It's in the history book that I had written about growing up in Framingham. And the playground, I would teach the kids baseball, how to play ping pong, things like that. Then he got me a job when I was first in college, or just as I was starting college, working for the town of Framingham with as part of the survey crew. I would hold the rod for the experienced workmen with the instruments. And I did that. I picked apples at an orchard. I helped lay a water pipeline, lifting heavy cast iron pipe, and the foreman of it told my father that I was going to hurt myself, so I only did that for a couple of weeks. Then I worked as a construction, building a house for about a month. And that here again, my father had worked that out. And then finally, I got a job which ended up funding my college career through my junior year, and that was working for the mosquito control. And what we would do is go around spraying the catch basins alongside the road, because there would be water buildup in the catch basins and mosquitoes would breed. And we would squirt kerosene down there, just one shot to break up the film, and the mosquitoes would basically, larvae would drown. And then 1 week a month, we would go into swamps and help drain the swamps. And that was a rough job because you would go sometimes wearing hip boots, and you never knew when you were going to step into quicksand type of things, which near Waltham we ran into. But I drove the motorcycle around all through every road in Framingham, every road in Wellesley. I did some in Newton, but it was mostly Wellesley and Framingham, doing about a 1 week or 2 week cycle. And it helped pay for college. And I did that each summer. And it turned out one of my friends saw what I was doing, and he mentioned it to his father. Well, his father employed the foreman of the mosquito control area that I was working in. And his father said to the foreman, I want you to fire me and give the job to his son, because his son really liked that job. Because I would drive all over Framingham and see everybody. People were working on construction, people were working. I'd even go down to the sewer beds because there was a crew there, about 4 guys I knew who were working in the sewer beds, which was a lousy job. And I would see them at night afterwards at the Dairy Queen, and I'd be going around going, phew, phew. And I didn't make friends very well with them. But my father found jobs for me.
Well, did you get fired from
But
that
he
job?
had told me when I received my acceptance letter from the university, he took me aside and said, well, it's great you've been accepted at college, but how are you going to pay for it? Because I don't have the money for it, because my mother was dying and he had big hospital bills, which back then your insurance was not like it is now. Well, I had, with all these little jobs, even one job I got with other town employees' children. I consider myself a child then.
Mm-hmm.
About 10 of us lined up across an athletic field and by hand went the whole length of the football field pulling up weeds by hand because they couldn't use type of weed sides because of injuries to people playing football. So that was one of the jobs, plus, which turned out to be profitable for me much later. And that was, he got me 3 Christmas jobs working for the post office. 2 of them delivering mail, 1 of them on the mail truck delivering packages. The packages one was the first one and the best one. One of the mail delivery one was rough. But where it really worked out, when I went to retire from the patent office, they checked the records and found out that I basically had 3/4 of good time working for the government, the post office.
Mm-hmm.
So I had almost 3/4 of a year added to my retirement, which I never thought would be what I was a little irked about when I retired. Was I looked at all these other jobs I had, the playground, the mosquito control, the town. None of them paid Social Security, because back then, town, county didn't have to pay Social Security. You weren't under Social Security. So I got no Social Security credits for all the time, but I got the government retirement. So that ended up to be at least a small plus to of my younger, if I just known better. Like my father got me a job working for a pizza parlor place, and I was slicing in thin slices through a machine like the pepperoni slices you'll see going around a piece of pizza. Well, that's why I was cutting that, and I just didn't like that job at all. And I did it for 2 hours after school because my father had said, well, here's a job for you, and the guy, I told him, I said, I really didn't want to come back because actually that slicer was dangerous.
Yeah.
And especially they wanted you to take it down to a small piece that you would, and I tried using a wood thing, but that didn't really work out very well. You couldn't control the thing. In any event, I told the guy, he says, well, I'll pay you for today. I said, no, that's not necessary. I said, you tried to work this out for me, and I'll just charge it off to life experience. So I think when he told my father that I didn't, it ended on a plus note rather than a negative, because he probably said, your son said in that I wasn't going to be coming back, that it wasn't necessary to pay him, and that I charged it off to life experience. That was kind of nice to do that, or he may not have said that, but it created
It didn't cause any
bad feelings, yeah. And but if I had gotten paid, I might have got some Social Security credit, because back then you only needed $50 for a quarter.
Oh.